Early audience reviews were out for The Nun 2. The movie is out internationally. They did some pretty cool marketing for the movie at the theaters. Look at some of these costumes. The marketing will definitely get you hyped for this movie. Can you imagine watching The Nun 2 and this guy walks around the crowd to scare you in the middle of the movie? That would be awesome. So far, the audience reviews are out. Let's take a look at some of the early audience reviews for The Nun 2. If you have back or neck problems, don't watch The Nun 2, because you might need to see a chiropractor afterwards, according to this person.
I jumped a lot. I might have to go to the chiropractor.
This film was better than the first one. The stakes are higher. There are some genuinely good scares here, believe it or not. The final act was just crazy. The Nun 2 is a much better film than the first one. The story is allowed to breathe more. The scares are better timed. The performances are more convincing. Nevertheless, it is not a perfect film, and you can expect some genre cliches. It's the same stereotypical horror film relying itself on jump scares. The horror elements are ordinary and predictable. It never reaches the full potential. Surpassed its prequel by a small margin. At least the final act was fun with plenty of action. No one scares better in the shadows than Valak. The first act was really long, but it still surpassed the first movie. The Nun 2 delivered such intense scenes with little to no break. The jump scares got more creative. Lots of jump scares, but weak execution. And a less than solid story reduces the excitement. So this film is suitable for those who are looking for adrenaline, but not for those who care about the story details. The most terrifying chapter from the Conjuring Universe so far. I couldn't say anything else because this movie took my breath away from the beginning until the end. We got more backstories of Sister Irene in this sequel, and also makes more sense now why Valak is after her in the first place. To me, in terms of execution of the story, they did it slightly better here than the first. What I liked about this one was the use of jump scares and how they really draw it out. It's definitely better than the first one. It's visually more striking, and it didn't rely on loud noises and cheap jump scares for the whole movie. It also had more Valak in it, which is what everyone wanted in the first place. The Nun 2 is undeniably far more better in every aspect than the Nun 1. Darker, more brutal, intense, and surprisingly suspenseful. The third act is insane terror non-stop. They got the best third act since The Conjuring. The Nun 2 is only slightly better than its predecessor, still using the same formula. Unfortunately, this movie still has a thin story and minimal information about this iconic ghost and its protagonist. In terms of terror, this movie is also still too dependent on repetitive jump scares. Only 1 or 2 jump scares are successful. The Nun 2 is trapped in a routine of jump scares and mediocre plots, only helped by an impressive climatic fight. They're playing it safe this time, but I can't believe to say that I prefer the first one over this. Overall, it was okay. The horror scenes were non-stop and it was kind of fun. The scares in The Nun 2 feel refreshing, and the final 25 minutes unleash a demonic pandemonium. The Nun 2 eclipses its predecessor in every imaginable way. So it sounds like the audience likes The Nun 2, definitely saying it's better than The Nun 1, at least in terms of jump scares. Also, people seem to agree that the last act of the movie is going to be exciting. Sounds like a fun time at the movies. Are you excited to see The Nun 2? Let me know in the comments.